In the 2023 film They Clone Tyrone, a drug dealer, a pimp, and a sex worker stumble upon a massive underground laboratory. They discover a secret organization is using laced fried chicken and chemical hair relaxers to control the minds of everyone in their neighborhood. On the surface, the movie plays out like a retro 1970s-style mystery, packed with over-the-top sci-fi tropes and absurd humor. But look past the comedy, and the film functions as a roadmap of the specific systems that shaped real-world American neighborhoods. It raises a logistical question. How do you manage and direct an entire demographic of people without them ever realizing it, and without relying on cartoonish villains plotting in secret lairs? Real-world social engineering operates in the open. It uses the geography of our cities, the biology of our bodies, and the psychology of our entertainment to systematically manipulate marginalized communities. In the film, the characters live in the Glen. It operates as an isolated, self-contained zone engineered to keep its residents trapped in a permanent cycle of poverty and crime. We see this exact strategy in modern history through redlining and systemic urban divestment. This map shows how city planners historically drew literal lines across urban areas, intentionally separating minority districts and starving them of resources. By trapping populations in these red zones, banks and local governments restricted access to mortgages, commercial investment, and generational wealth. Over time, this geographical isolation creates food deserts, areas severed from access to fresh groceries and basic nutritional infrastructure. Residents are left to rely on cheap, highly processed alternatives. Spatial control is a calculated environmental design intended to limit physical mobility and enforce long-term economic dependency. In the movie, the conspiracy reaches directly into the residents' bodies. Everyday items like fried chicken, grape drink, and hair relaxers are laced with chemicals designed to keep the population docile or force them to assimilate. We can trace the film's hair relaxer subplot to the social and professional pressure placed on marginalized groups to conform to white-centric beauty standards. We also see corporations target these isolated neighborhoods with aggressive fast food marketing campaigns, pushing unhealthy meals directly into gaps left by city planners. This commercial exploitation sits right next to a history of literal medical exploitation. The film's secret underground lab mirrors documented historical events. Take the Tuskegee syphilis study, which occurred in the film director's hometown. For decades, the U.S. government unethically observed and experimented on Black men without providing proper medical treatment. When you compound these physical violations, from engineered diets to medical betrayals, you create a systemic institutional distrust that continues to shape how marginalized groups interact with the healthcare system today. The film takes this control a step further by revealing that its main characters were programmed by the system to act out toxic archetypes: the drug dealer, the flashy pimp, and the sex worker. This programming maps onto the commodification of trauma, where popular media and entertainment industries heavily monetize hyperviolence and negative minority stereotypes. This creates a feedback loop. Continuous reinforcement of these archetypes through pop culture shapes subconscious behavior. When these roles are the only ones validated by the media and economy, stepping outside of them becomes a social and financial risk. When an oppressive system dictates the narrative and controls representation, it effectively controls what an entire community believes it is capable of becoming. Systems of social control are embedded in city planning, healthcare policies, and the pop culture we consume every day. Yet, despite these engineered systems, marginalized communities have a deep, enduring history of mutual aid, culture, and survival, finding joy and connection even amidst systemic neglect. Fontaine, Slick Charles, and Yo-Yo stop being archetypes when they unite to dismantle the laboratory that created them. The greatest defense against any form of social engineering is awareness and critical thought. Recognizing the invisible architecture of control is the very first step to dismantling it, because you cannot be controlled by a script once you realize you are the one holding the pen.